Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2018 Johns Hopkins degree candidates. Leading the procession, the bachelor's degree candidates from the Carey Business School, the Peabody Conservatory, the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, and the GWC Whiting School of Engineering. Now entering are the Master's Certificates, Performance Certificates, and Bachelor's candidates from the Carey Business School, the School of Education, the Peabody Conservatory, the School of Nursing, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, the Paul H. Nitze School of Advanced International Studies, the School of Medicine, the G.W.C. Whiting School of Engineering, and the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences. Now entering are the candidates for artist diplomas and doctoral degrees in the following order: the School of Education, the Peabody Conservatory, the School of Nursing, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, the Paul H. Nitze School of Advanced International Studies, the School of Medicine, the G.W.C. Whiting School of Engineering, and the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences. Please welcome the faculty members of the Johns Hopkins University. Now entering the Johns Hopkins University Vice Presidents, officials, and trustees. Please stand for the procession of the Presidential Party, led by Chief Marshal Sunil Kumar. The Chief Marshal is followed by the University Deans, Honorary Degree recipients, Board of Trustees Chair Jeffrey Aronson, and President Ronald Daniels.
The ceremony will now come to order. Good afternoon. I'm Sunil Kumar, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. I'm honored to serve as the Chief Marshal for the 2018 Johns Hopkins University Commencement Ceremony. University Chaplain Kathy Schnurr will offer the invocation. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the national anthem sung by Peabody Masters candidate Simone Harkup.
My sisters and brothers, let us pray. Loving and merciful Creator, we are so very thankful this day has arrived, and our hearts are filled with energy and joy by the possibilities that lie ahead as we celebrate the Johns Hopkins University class of 2018. Source of truth for all generations, we are deeply aware that our success comes as the result of not only our own efforts to engage eternal and intricate questions, but also as the result of the encouragement and support of our mentors, our instructors, our coaches, our friends, and many others we have met along the way. We are thankful for their support. We are especially grateful for the dedication and sacrifices of our parents and families, those who are here today for this auspicious event, and those who are celebrating from afar. We are humbled by their profound generosity and love. We remember also today those whom we hold dear who are no longer with us, especially Jeremy Huber, whose life ended tragically too soon. We deeply miss them, and they will always be carried in our hearts. God of many names, we are awed by the elegance of the expanse of the cosmos, the splendor of the tiniest particles, and the gorgeous mosaic of humanity. May our lives be examples of beauty and generosity, justice and hope, courage and wisdom, comfort and healing. And as we leave this place, may we know and be shalom. May we know and be salam. May we know and be shanti. May we know and be peace. As your loving people, together we say, Amen.
So proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gathered
Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jeffrey Aronson, Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Honored guests, my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, and on the faculty, and most importantly to the graduates, I wish you all a good afternoon. In fact, it's not a good afternoon, it's a great afternoon, right? Right? This is a great day for us. It's a great day for you. It's a great day for my family because my niece, Maddie Poland, is about to walk across this stage as a proud Krieger graduate. From this day forward, all of you will be identified as graduates of the Johns Hopkins University. Your association with Johns Hopkins will serve you well for the rest of your life, more so perhaps than you may recognize today. On behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, I extend our congratulations on a job well done and best wishes in your life to come. In this country, higher education is and always has been advanced through the gifts, enthusiasm, and support for its alumni. We look forward to your loyalty and support for this great university, whose future, in a very real sense, is now in your hands. For our part, we pledge to do everything in our power to make sure Johns Hopkins remains a leader in higher education and a university of which you will always be proud. At this time, it is my pleasure to carry on a great Johns Hopkins tradition. Will the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, and partners of the candidates for degrees please rise and remain standing? Today, all of our attention is directed to your daughters and sons, your wives and your husbands and your partners who are soon to receive their degrees. However, your appreciation of the great value of a Johns Hopkins education, your understanding of the need to sometimes make difficult sacrifices in pursuit of that goal, and the unconditional support you have shown all along the way is in no small part responsible for their tremendous achievement today. We, the trustees, the faculties, the students, and the administration of the Johns Hopkins University thank and honor you. Thank you. Please be seated. And again, congratulations to all of our graduates on this most special day.
Thank you, Mr. Aronson. And now I'm pleased to introduce Mr. David Yaffe, a 1974 graduate of the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, a member of the University Board of Trustees, and president of the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association.
Thank you, and good afternoon, graduates, family, and friends. It's my great honor to welcome you, the graduates of 2018, as you venture forth from Hopkins into your next endeavors. As president of your Alumni Association, I'd like to suggest that not only has Johns Hopkins prepared you to venture into the world, but Johns Hopkins, through its body of just over 215,000 alumni living in the United States and throughout the world, may continue to provide you with support, leads, and companionship if you stay in contact and indeed plugged in. Think of the Johns Hopkins University Alumni Network and Association as a platform of alumni that have shared personal and professional interests with you, whether they graduated from your specific school or from one of the other divisions of the university. This network includes regional chapters and events, as well as affinity groups that grew from and are sustained by your organic common interests. We currently have programs ranging from aerospace to food, women in business and in government, healthcare to law, outdoors to entrepreneurship, and so on. If you have an interest and a group of fellow alumni with common interests, come speak with us about plugging into or starting an affinity group. Join your fellow alumni by attending or planning an event, or by talking to your colleagues, friends, and prospective students about your experience, and by remaining in touch with your professors and classmates. You can do that by taking full advantage of Go Hop Online, our platform, as well as the various other social media outlets that Johns Hopkins Alumni Association actively maintains. And you can use these means not only to forward your interests, but to give back to Hopkins and those students following you through mentoring and other activities. If you take away nothing else from my message, please consider Johns Hopkins as part of your lives, even if you are no longer on campus. Look out for each other, open doors for each other, and help each other become successful. Your purpose in life as a graduate of Johns Hopkins is simply this: to make the world and your community a better place. During your time here, many of you have contributed something to society, but my question is, will these efforts be sustained after you leave? Ask yourself, is my work ever done? As I offer my congratulations to all of you and wish you the very best, I hope this will be the first of many opportunities where our paths cross. And as you go out and celebrate, remember, you will always be a Johns Hopkins graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yaffe. Today's commencement ceremony marks the close of the 142nd academic year at Johns Hopkins University. In that time, 14 presidents have led the university, beginning with President Daniel Coit Gilman, who originated the research mission of the university and hired the first faculty. Our current president, Ronald J. Daniels, assumed office on March 2, 2009. He will now address the candidates for degrees.
Thank you, Provost. To our honorary degree recipients, alumni and trustees, to our faculty and staff, to our parents, family members, and friends, and most especially to our graduates, welcome to the Johns Hopkins University Commencement for the great class of 2018. So I'll confess, I look forward to graduation every year as a moment to celebrate the successes, the many successes of our students. Your transformation from timid first years sneaking Chipotle into Brody to proud seniors striding in, burritos afloat mid-bite. That's a success. Your persistence in offloading your Iggy tickets to this day. And your domination of meme wars with an unnamed Midwestern university. Yes, your tremendous personal achievements are on full display today. But today, as you know, is not just about you. I also look forward to this moment because it is an opportunity to celebrate the people who helped you arrive here, the people who are here in person or here in spirit. Graduations are one of the great milestones in the life of any family, however you define it. For me, our commencement, and this is my 10th commencement at Johns Hopkins, it always evokes a particular awareness of what higher education has meant in my own family, and in particular, the quite extraordinary circumstances that enabled my father, and later me, and now my children, to access higher education's manifold gifts. Like some of yours, my family's path to university education was not straightforward, nor was it assured. You see, my father came to Canada as a 7-year-old boy with his parents and 2 older siblings. They arrived from Warsaw, Poland as Jewish refugees in March 1939, just months before Hitler invaded the country. And it was true of so many Jewish families, including my wife Joanne's. By the end of the Second World War, the entirety of my father's extended family had perished alongside 6 million European Jews. For my father, the motivating force in his life was trying to make sense of this good fortune and escaping to Canada on the eve of the Holocaust, becoming educated, and having such a full and meaningful life. Indeed, in the hours before he passed away at the age of 78, he told me that when he learned that he had a terminal illness, his first reaction was, not surprisingly, one of disappointment. He wanted more. Indeed, he told me he had hoped to live to be 83. I said, Dad, I asked, what's the magic of 83? It seems kind of random. Like, why not go for 80, 85, something divisible by 5? What's 83? And he said that 83 was his target because he started to see many of his older friends begin to fail at that age. And for my dad, the dream was that if he could make it to 83, he would go out at the top of his game. But then he paused, and he reflected, and he said, though he wished he had those 5 additional years that would have taken him from 78 to 83, he never lost sight of the 71 years he gained by having been spared at the age of 7. All told, he felt he had won the lottery of life. Now, this is, of course, an intensely personal story. It is one that I come back to with some regularity, not only because of its centrality to my own life, but also because, like any good story, it holds new meaning in new moments. And at this moment, I think of my father's narrow odds, not only in terms of its personal implications, but also a stark illustration of the callous and inhumane response of the civilized world to clear and known threats. Something that recent public surveys show is being all too quickly forgotten. Now, as the historian Irving Abella has documented, during the time in which the Nazis governed Germany from early 1930s to 1945, the United States admitted only 200,000 Jewish refugees. The United Kingdom, 70,000 refugees. Australia, 15,000. And Canada, inexplicably fewer than 5,000 refugees, my dad and his immediate family among the lucky few. Indeed, when a senior Canadian government official was asked by the press in early 1945 how many Jewish refugees would Canada admit, he famously replied, "None is too many." None is too many. This jarring response reveals that the Canadian government was not simply misinformed about the plight of the Jews. They were at best disinterested, at worst active in turning away those in desperate need of refuge. There was no ambiguity about what was happening in Europe. Newspaper coverage, radio broadcasts, public opinion polls, and international conferences on the refugee crisis and protests everywhere from Los Angeles to Bulgaria had all shone a light on the violence, discrimination, and persecution at least unleashed against Jews in Europe. Yet, deep-seated fears of foreign and of communist influence, anxieties over job competition from people who were considered other or less human because of their race or religion, tendencies towards isolationism, and the very real struggles of day-to-day life, the mundane struggles of day-to-day life, all conspired to mute the gravity of the atrocities being committed abroad and blinded people to the human tragedy hidden in plain sight. In doing so, ugly prejudice and parochial tribalism were openly espoused, and allowed to prevail. And of course, parts of this sound vaguely, hauntingly familiar. Around the world, examples of such prejudices are legion, and they are not consigned to history, but very much, tragically, part of our present. The rise of nativism in elections across Europe, the sectarian violence that is rending the Middle East, the increase in vicious activity among hate groups targeting people of color here in America. How does this continue to happen? In the early 1950s, social psychologist Muzaffer Sherif and his colleagues conducted the iconic Robbers Cave study to answer this very question. Some of you may have studied it here while at Hopkins. And as you know, for those of you who know the study, they began by recruiting 22 11 and 12-year-old American boys from similar backgrounds, same level of income, same educational background, same religious backgrounds, and took them to a secluded summer camp. And in classic color war fashion, they were split into two groups, the Eagles and the Rattlers, and were thrown into a series of contests with one another. And in a matter of days, these groups of boys, these two groups, began to dislike each other intensely. Name-calling and vandalism quickly escalated to physical aggression and violence. Now, as soon-to-be Hopkins graduates, you will discern that the ethics and methods of bringing unsuspecting boys to a fake camp for psychological experimentation do not quite hold up to modern research standards. But the study's findings are nevertheless striking, arresting. How quickly the boys in this study, boys who were so similar in so many ways, came to cling to their relatively brief identification with a totally arbitrary group and turn on one another. Imagine what happens when instead of being pulled from an essentially homogeneous group, people are separated, defined on the basis of race, religion, gender, geography, and pitted against one another. How quickly does the potential for immediate distrust and conflict then arise? Sadly, despite the technologies that promise to close the distances and misunderstandings between us, we live in a world today where unbridgeable divides seem to be growing. A world in which distinctions, like the racial and economic inequities that have long plagued this nation, are being further exacerbated. And our ability to discern the forces exacerbating these rifts and then counter them is ever more compromised and complicated. Mental fences are erected that limit our capacity to see others as fellow human beings, deserving of recognition, respect, and compassion. Mental fences that allow people to tell themselves the stories they want to hear instead of grappling with the difficult, unnerving truths that are right in front of them. So here, graduates, this is where you come in. In your time at Johns Hopkins, you have gained skills, understanding, and perspectives that cross disciplines and schools of thought. You've learned to live with and learn from people who hold different views from your own, who come from very different backgrounds and have had different experiences. You have wrestled with complex ideas and brought to bear the tools of reason, evidence, principle, and debate. Quidditch players and lacrosse players, hop hackers and all-nighters, members of the Society of Physics Students, Bela and Blue Jay Bangra, no matter what group you affiliate with, you have all found your place here in Baltimore at Hopkins, and each of you, and collectively, has made this place better. So, today, I'm calling on you to use all that you have learned here to recognize and confront your own biases and to help others do the same, to champion the idea, it's a simple one, but it's a compelling one, of the equal worth and dignity of all humans, to create and support institutions that share your values, and challenge those leaders who do not, and indeed, when they do not, vote. Please vote. Vote them out. You must vote. Be the kinds of citizens who will identify the mental fences that hold us back from extending opportunity to people who seek only the fair chance to build lives of decency and meaning. Be among those, like your commencement speaker today, who are determined, committed, resolute, at tearing down those fences. Indeed, all of us here, we are counting on you. In whatever way you heed this call, you will vindicate the work of those generations who built the civic, educational, and political institutions that have shaped good, sound, flourishing liberal democracies like the one we have in this country and have allowed us to thrive and excel. And you will, with your words and deeds, imagine and construct even better ones. Of that I am sure. Class of 2018, we are so very, very, very proud of you. Godspeed. Congratulations. Thank you. I now have the great privilege of presenting the individuals who will, in just a moment, be recognized for peerless accomplishments in their fields, the distinguished honorary degree recipients of 2018. Please roll film.
Today, we are proud to honor a visionary group of leaders, thinkers, and creators.
Businessman and philanthropist David H. Bernstein.
In my senior year, I was the Blue Jay at lacrosse games.
He's a proud member of the Johns Hopkins class of 1957. David Bernstein built a successful career in international business. He supported his alma mater through scholarships, professorships, and backing for Blue Jay sports.
I would advise you, as you're graduating now, stay active, stay involved. You're in one of the world's really great universities, and it's only going to get better.
Business pioneer and financial expert Melody Hobson. Time magazine calls her one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Melody Hobson is president of one of the country's largest African-American-owned investment firms.
You should not be changing your approach.
Her financial advice empowers millions.
My number one piece of advice for today's graduates would be to be persistent, to not let people take you off your path, and to fight for what you believe in. Anything is possible if you work really, really hard.
Legendary filmmaker George Lucas. He is the Hollywood icon who took us to a galaxy far, far away. He launched a new era in filmmaking technology and special effects. His foundation now works to spark learning and creativity in our nation's students.
Ultimately, you have to find your own path in life. If you explore what you're interested in, what you enjoy doing, you'll be perfectly happy.
Civic leader and Johns Hopkins alumnus, Bishop Douglas Miles. As a student in the 1960s, he turned pain to progress, helping to found the Johns Hopkins Black Student Union.
It was just right.
As founder and pastor of Baltimore's Koinonia Baptist Church, Bishop Miles works to bring together communities, congregations, and schools to build a stronger city for everyone.
God doesn't ask us to be the best, the brightest, the smartest, or the strongest. He just asks us to show up, making ourselves available and ready to act.
Renowned Johns Hopkins neuroscientist Dr. Solomon H. Snyder. While his first love was the classical guitar, Dr. Snyder spent his career studying the human brain. He's best known for figuring out how the brain transmits and receives messages, a discovery that has helped patients around the world.
My life has been devoted to working together with young people, helping them understand what's going on, helping them to develop creativity. And through them, I'm able to make research discoveries that have meaning and significance for all of mankind.
Attorney, civil rights champion, and this year's commencement speaker, Bryan A. Stevenson.
Sometimes there's a need for us to create things we haven't seen created before, to achieve things that haven't been achieved before.
He's worked tirelessly to challenge the legacy of racial discrimination and poverty in our nation's justice system, winning freedom for more than 125 wrongfully accused death row prisoners. Through a powerful new memorial and museum, he shares the painful and enduring consequences of slavery, lynching, and racial injustice.
Believing that you can do things that you haven't seen is critical to how we change the world.
We salute you.
And thank you
for inspiring us all to work hard,
dream big,
and build a brighter future.
Honorary degrees will now be conferred. Dr. Wali Nasser, Dean of the Paul H. Nietzsche School of Advanced International Studies, will begin today's presentations of candidates for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will David Bernstein please step forward? Dr. Bernard Ferrari, the Dean of the Carey Business School, will present the next candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will Melody Hobson please step forward? Dr. Ed Schleisinger, the Benjamin T. Rome Dean of the GWC Whiting School of Engineering, will present the next candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will George Lucas please step forward? Dr. Beverly Wendland, the James B. Knapp Dean of the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, will present the next candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will Dr. Douglas Miles please come forward?
Provost, if I could just ask to interrupt for one moment. There is something very special that's happening here right now, apart from the obvious moment that all of our honorary degree graduates are about to receive their degrees. But in the case of Bishop Miles, I thought it was worth noting, and I shared this last night, that I just learned that this is the first time, despite the fact that he graduated 50 years ago from Johns Hopkins, this is the first time he's actually wearing the robes that are appropriate for graduation. And so you might ask, why was he not wearing robes in 1968? He, and apparently the class of graduates, decided that in light of their opposition to the Vietnam War, and in particular the bombing of Cambodia, they felt it was important to protest, and they did that by refusing to wear robes. Today, you will notice you're a little bit hotter this year, aren't you? Thank you. I just wanted to share that moment.
Dr. Paul Rothman, the Francis Watt Baker and Lennox D. Baker Dean of the Medical Faculty, will present the next candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will Dr. Solomon Snyder please step forward? Finally, Dr. Ellen McKinsey, the Dean of the Bloomberg School of Public Health, will present the candidate for degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Will Bryan Stevenson please step forward?
David Bernstein, Melody Hobson, George Lucas, Douglas Miles, Solomon Snyder, and Bryan Stevenson, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, together with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. And we're going to present you with a diploma indicating this honor has been conferred, and the deans will vest you with the inside of the degree. And I'm hoping everyone here will applaud and give some recognition to the wonderful cavalcade of leaders we're recognizing today. Our honorary degree recipients can be seated. Thank you.
Kwame Alston, President of the Class of 2018, will now bring greetings.
Give me 1 second. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to friends, families, faculty, and trustees. Thank you so much for joining the class of 2018 as we celebrate our graduation. I'd also like to recognize our loved ones who supported us but could not be here to see us graduate. And let us take a moment to remember our classmate, Jeremy Huber, who passed way too soon. When I first arrived at the Johns Hopkins University, I did not think it was a place for me. Like many of my low-income and first-generation peers, I struggled academically and socially. Honestly, after my first semester, I was ready to pack my bags and go. Thankfully, I made remarkable friends here, and it was their support that gave me the determination to stay and do well. Classmates became friends who helped me when I was at my lowest and did everything to lift my spirits as I agonized about my grades. Upperclassmen students became mentors, spending hours in the library with me as I studied. It was my friends who encouraged me to take student leadership positions and believed in my ability to make a difference on this campus. I know I would not be here making this speech today without the encouragement of my family, friends, and fraternity brothers. So thank you, Mom. I am honored to represent my class at commencement. While each of our experiences these past 4 years have been different, we've all faced our own challenges. I'll be frank with you all, this is not an easy school, in any sense of the word. Hopkins forced us to grow academically and intellectually at a rapid pace that at times felt impossible to keep up with. It has taken a love for education, perseverance, and most importantly, the support of a community to make it to this special moment. We are all grateful for the people who have helped us do our best here. Our parents and guardians have invested time, emotional support, and most importantly, money, to make sure we succeeded. Faculty have spent countless hours introducing us to new ideas and experiences, critiquing our work, and challenging us to grow. Even the neighborhoods around us have shifted to accommodate our needs. As I've been counting down the days to graduation, I've grown more and more excited. But at the same time, my anxiety has increased. It is not that I'm afraid of the unknown, because Hopkins has prepared me and my classmates to take on any and all challenges. My anxiety stems from not knowing how I'm going to repay the generosity of the people who have given so much to me. There is no question that we're ready to move forward with our lives. The only question is, how will we give back to the people who have given so much to make us into the people we are today? We owe it to everyone in this room, university, and city to make the most of the privilege as Johns Hopkins graduates and to use what we have learned and accomplished here to make the world a better place. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2018. Now, on to the main event, the address by Bryan Stevenson. This is a man who has had an exceptional impact on the world. As the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, Mr. Stevenson has dedicated his life to fighting poverty and challenging the legacy of poverty and racial discrimination in the American criminal justice system. His best-selling book, Just Mercy, tells the stories of some of his cases. They include children who have been persecuted as adults and innocent death row prisoners who have been wrongly condemned. Recently, his organization opened a museum built on the site of a former slave warehouse in Montgomery, Alabama. It's called the Legacy Museum, From Enslavement to Mass Incarceration. Nearby is the Equal Justice Initiative's National Memorial to Victims of Lynching, called the National Memorial of Peace and Justice. It is my honor and my privilege to introduce Mr. Bryan Stevenson.
Thank you so much. It is such a great honor to be here with you today. I have so much respect for this institution. Johns Hopkins is an amazing university. It's an amazing institution. And to you graduates, I just want to say Congratulations to you for what you have achieved. Today, you will get a degree that confirms and legitimates and affirms the hard work that you have done over the last 4 years. But I also believe that today your degree will do something else. I think your degree now authorizes you to change the world. And I say that with all sincerity. I believe that you've done something really remarkable by achieving what you've achieved. I believe you've done something extraordinary by completing your course of study, but there is something greater yet for you to do. We need you to leave this university with high expectations about what you can do to create a more just world. And I'm really serious. I hope you will help find ways to change things. I work in the criminal justice space, and I've seen what happens when graduates become indifferent to the problems that they see around them. In 1972, we had 300,000 people in jails and prisons. Today, we have 2.3 million people in jails and prisons. The United States now has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. We've got 6 million people on probation or parole. There are 70 million Americans with criminal arrests, which means that when they try to get jobs or try to get loans, they're often disfavored. We've done terrible things to women. Over the last quarter century, over the last 25 years, the percentage of women going to prison has increased 646%. 70% of the women we send to jails and prisons are single moms with minor children, which means that when these moms go to jails and prisons, the lives of these children get disrupted. We do terrible things to people when they come out of jails and prisons. We disenfranchise them. We exclude them. We won't employ them. The statistic that keeps me up latest at night is the one from the Bureau of Justice. The Bureau of Justice now predicts that 1 in 3 black male babies born in this country is expected to go to jail or prison during his lifetime. The statistic for Latino boys is 1 in 6. And there is this stunning silence and indifference. There aren't enough people trying to change the world, to disrupt this despair. I go into poor communities where 13-year-old children tell me they expect to go to jail or prison. And so for me, there is this need to change things. And whether we're talking about the criminal justice system or the environment, or whether we're talking about how we deal with the status of women, or we deal with immigration, or we deal with international security, I need you, we need you, to become graduates who are committed to changing the world. And there are 4 things I believe you have to do if you want to change the world. The first thing is that you have to find ways, no matter what your field of study, doesn't matter whether you're an engineer or a teacher or a nurse or practitioner, whatever you do, you have to find ways, in whatever community you live, to get proximate to people who are suffering, to get closer to people who are excluded, to go into the parts of the community that other people say you shouldn't go to. Many of us grew up in communities where people would say to us, oh, that's the bad part of town. Stay as far away from that part of town as possible. Today, I'm going to urge you to do the opposite. We need a class of graduates from this institution that looks for ways to get closer to the poor, the marginalized, the excluded, the incarcerated, those who are dealing with inequality and injustice. And in proximity to the poor and the disfavored, I believe whatever you've studied, whatever you're trying to do, your commitment to doing it will be deepened. There is power in proximity. And no matter where you go, if you find ways to get past the barriers that exclude those who are disfavored, and you get proximate, you'll discover something transformative. I learned about proximity not from my time as a lawyer, not from my graduate study. I learned about it from my grandmother. I told the group last night I had a remarkable, extraordinary grandmother. My grandmother was the classic African-American matriarch. She was tough. She was strong. She could be intimidating. My grandmother was the end of every argument in our family. My grandmother was also the start of a lot of arguments in our family. And she had these tactics and things that she would do. And when I was a little boy, my grandmother would come up to me and she'd give me these hugs. And she'd squeeze me so tightly, I thought she was trying to hurt me. And then she'd see me an hour later and she'd look at me and she'd say, Bryan, do you still feel me hugging you? And if I said no, she would jump on me again. And by the time I was 10, my grandmother had taught me every time I would see her, the first thing I would say is, Mama, I always feel you hugging me. And she'd smile this smile, and I didn't appreciate what she was doing until I got much older. She lived to be in her 90s. She worked as a domestic her whole life. And one day she fell down and she broke her hip. She developed cancer, and she was dying. And I was a college student when she was on her deathbed, and I went to see my grandmother, and I was just pouring my heart out because she meant the world to me. She was so important to me, and I was holding her hand, saying everything I could think to say, and it was finally time for me to leave. And I stood up to leave. I didn't even think my grandmother could hear me. Her eyes were closed, but as I was about to leave, my grandmother opened her eyes and she squeezed my hand, and the last thing she said to me, she said, "Bryan, do you still feel me hugging you?" And then she said, "I'm always going to be hugging you." And I tell you that because if we get proximate to people who are suffering, people who are excluded, people who are neglected, people who are abused, we don't have to know all of the answers. We don't have to understand all of the complexities. We don't have to have all of the solutions. Sometimes we just have to be close enough to those who are struggling and wrap our arms around them and let them know that their humanity is recognized by us, that their life has meaning and purpose in proximity. We can embrace people who need to be embraced. There's such power that comes to us. I'm the product of someone's choice to get proximate. I grew up in a community where black children couldn't go to the public schools. In my county, there were no high schools for black children when my dad was a teenager. He couldn't go to high school in our county. And I remember when lawyers came into the community and made them open up the public schools so black kids like me could go to high school. I got to go to high school. I got to go to college. When I got to college, I come to Johns Hopkins, I see so many of you, and even sitting here, I can tell all of you are so much more cool than I was when I was in college. I was a really uncool college student. I would do these things in college that you're not supposed to do. When I got to college, I was so excited. I was very involved in music. I was very involved in sports. And I would go up to people because I was so excited, even if I didn't know them. And I'd say, "Hi, my name is Bryan Stevenson, and I love college." And people would look at me like I'm crazy. I went into the cafeteria one time, I sat down and I looked at these kids, I said, "Guess what? I love college. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in college." And what I remember these kids doing is getting up and walking away from me. And I called my mom and said, "Mom, I've decided I'm going to spend the rest of my life in college." My mom said, "You know, Bryan, I didn't go to college, but I don't think they're going to let you do that." I said, "No, Mom, they will." And I was a philosophy major in college. So by the time I became a senior, I started thinking I better have some deep thoughts, and I started working on my deep thoughts, and then I realized nobody was going to pay me to philosophize when I graduated from college. And so I tried to figure out how to stay in school, and because nobody in my family had gone to college, I didn't know what all of you know. I didn't know that in this country, if you want to do graduate work in history or English or political science, to get admitted to graduate school, you have to know something about history, English, or political science. I was very intimidated by that, so I kept looking, and to be honest, that's how I found my way to law school. It was very clear to me, you don't need to know anything to go to law school. You don't. So I signed up for that, and a few months later found myself sitting in a classroom at Harvard Law School, deeply disillusioned. Because I went there because I was concerned about racism and poverty and social injustice, and nobody was talking about poverty or race, and I got disillusioned. I decided to leave. I went over to the School of Government to get a degree in public policy, and I remember the day 2 months into that program when I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I thought, wow, I'm even more miserable here than I was at the law school. They were teaching us to maximize benefits and minimize costs, but it didn't seem to matter whose benefits got maximized and whose costs got minimized. And I went back to the law school, and I was about to do this thing I'm going to urge all of you not to do. I began to believe that the privilege of education was not that you get to make choices with your life. I began to rationalize accepting a career as a lawyer that I knew was not going to be fulfilling. And I want to urge you to understand that the privilege of this degree is that you get to make choices with what you do with your life. You don't have to accept careers that don't animate your heart. You don't have to accept things that don't make you feel good about what you do each and every day. And in that moment of crisis, I couldn't figure out what to do, and I got proximate. I took a course that required me to spend a month representing people on death row, and it was in proximity to the condemned that I heard voices that I hadn't heard before. I saw things that I hadn't seen before. I learned that we had a criminal justice system that treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent. I saw poor people being crushed by inequality, and in proximity to it, I found my calling. I knew that I wanted to help condemned people get to a better place, and because I got proximate, when I got back to Harvard Law School, you couldn't get me out of the law school library. I needed to know everything, and I tell you that because proximity will empower you. It doesn't matter whether you're a doctor or an engineer, it doesn't matter whether you're a teacher or a nurse. If you get proximate, if you stay close to people who are suffering, if you learn things that reveal inequality, you will be empowered. We change the world when we choose not to isolate ourselves. But proximity won't be enough. The second thing you're going to have to do to change the world, you're going to have to change some of the narratives that are out there. We talk about the policies, we talk about the issues, but there are narratives underneath those policies and issues. We have mass incarceration in this country because we declared this misguided war on drugs. We said people who are drug dependent and people who are drug addicted, we said those people are criminals. And we didn't have to say that. We could have said that people with addiction and dependency have a health problem. We could have used our healthcare system to respond to that problem, but instead we said, no, those are criminals, and now we've sent hundreds of thousands of people to jails and prisons. The reason why we did that, though, has to do with a narrative. We had politicians that were preaching to us what I call the politics of fear and anger. They wanted us to be afraid, and they wanted us to be angry. And if we allow ourselves to be governed by fear and anger, we'll tolerate inequality, we'll tolerate injustice. And so I believe we're going to have to change the narrative. We cannot be a community of people who are willing to be governed by fear and anger. Fear and anger are the essential ingredients of injustice and oppression and inequality. Go anywhere in the world where there's oppression. If you ask the people why they do what they do, they'll give you a narrative of fear and anger. And we're going to have to change some of these narratives. We're going to have to change the narratives that are out there. We're going to have to create a new kind of world. And in this new world we create, we're going to have to be adamant that people with disabilities should not be disfavored or excluded or pushed to the margins. In this new world, we're going to have to create a narrative that no woman should have to worry about harassment or sexual violence in the workplace. We're going to have to create a narrative that affirms the value of every human being. No person who's a religious minority, no person who is gay or lesbian, no person who is dismissed or excluded because of who they are can be tolerated. We're going to have to create a narrative that changes our relationship to the history of racial inequality that we've inherited in this country. You know, we're not free in this country. We're not. We're burdened by this history. And it's in the air, it's like smog, it's everywhere, and we've all breathed it in, and our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents should have changed the narrative, but they didn't, so that means we have to change the narrative. We're going to have to talk about some things that we haven't talked about before. I think we have to talk about the fact that we live in a post-genocide society. Before Europeans were on this continent, there were native people here, and the Europeans that came to this continent slaughtered millions of native people. They killed them through famine and war and disease. It was a genocide, but we didn't call it that. We said those native people are savages. We use this narrative of racial difference to justify the violence that we subjected native populations to. We forced them off their lands, and that narrative of racial difference, that became this part of who we are. That we just accepted. That narrative was crafted, and I believe it was that narrative that made American slavery so insidious. I don't think the great evil of American slavery was forced labor or involuntary servitude. I think the real evil of American slavery was this ideology that we created, that black people aren't the same as white people. They're not fully evolved. They're not human. They can't do this. They can't do that. It was this ideology of white supremacy that was the true evil of American slavery. And if you read the 13th Amendment, it talks about ending involuntary servitude. It talks about ending forced labor, but it doesn't say anything about ending this narrative of racial difference. And because of that, I don't think slavery ended in America in 1865. I think it just evolved. It turned into decades where we had terrorism and lynchings, and people were pulled out of their homes, and they were drowned, and they were beaten. Not far from where we are sitting, black people were lynched, sometimes literally on the courthouse lawn, and we haven't talked about what that era of terrorism did to our demographic geography. The black people in Cleveland and Chicago and Detroit and Los Angeles and Oakland didn't go to those communities as immigrants looking for new economic opportunities. They went to those communities as refugees and exiles from terror in the American South. And because we never dealt with that narrative, it continued, and even when we had this heroic civil rights movement, it was insufficient to change the narrative because we've accepted a narrative about the civil rights movement. I'm going to tell you that I think has gotten a little too celebratory. I hear people talking about the civil rights movement, and it's starting to sound like a three-day carnival. On day one, Rosa Parks didn't give up her seat on a bus. On day two, Dr. King led a march on Washington. On day three, we changed all the laws and racism was over, and I wish that was our history, but that's not our history. We did difficult things, terrible things. And because of that, today, that narrative of racial difference is still out there, and it breaks my heart to look out at this amazing class of graduates and have to say to the black and brown graduates sitting in this classroom, even though you have a Johns Hopkins degree, even though you've done remarkable work, even though you've been kind and working hard, even though you've had these great accomplishments, if you are black or brown, you will go places in this country where you may be presumed dangerous and guilty just because of your color. And until that changes, we cannot not accept the responsibility to change the world. We've got to change the world by changing these narratives. There's something better waiting for us than we've experienced in this country. And I want us to get there, but even changing the narratives is not going to be enough. We're going to have to get proximate, change narratives. The third thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to stay hopeful. You cannot change the world if you allow yourself to become hopeless. I actually believe that hopelessness is the enemy of justice. Injustice prevails where hopelessness persists, and so you've got to find a way to stay hopeful. You either are hopeful or you're the problem. I hate saying it like that, but I really do believe it, because your hope is your superpower. Hope will allow you sometimes to stand up when other people say sit down. Hope will allow you to speak when other people say be quiet. When you're hopeful, you can actually believe things and see things that other people can't see. When I moved to Montgomery, it was a city with 59 markers and monuments to the Confederacy. We celebrate Jefferson Davis's birthday as a state holiday. We celebrate Confederate Memorial Day as a state holiday. We don't have Martin Luther King Day in Alabama. We have Martin Luther King / Robert E. Lee Day. Our two largest high schools are Robert E. Lee High and Jefferson Davis High. And when I moved there, you could not find the word slave or slavery anywhere in that city. There was this indifference, this silence. And today, I want to invite all of you to come to Montgomery, because today in Montgomery, we have this national memorial to peace and justice. We have a legacy museum that lifts up the voices of millions of people who were enslaved in this country. And when you come with hope, you begin to see things. And I will tell you, that museum and memorial was built by a lot of hard work, a lot of hard research. It took donations, but mostly it was the hope of some of us who believed that we could change the narrative in this country. And when I'm there, sometimes I feel what that hope can give me. I'll be honest, I've been in that museum, I've been in the memorial, and it could feel like sometimes that I hear the spirits of enslaved people, spirits of people who were lynched, people who were segregated and disfavored, the people who are incarcerated, and sometimes what I hear them saying is, stay hopeful, your work is not yet done. Hope is critical to your capacity to change the world. And Havel said, the kind of hope you need is not pie in the sky. It's not a preference for optimism over pessimism. He said it's an orientation of the spirit, a willingness to sometimes be in hopeless places and be a witness. Fourth and finally, if we're going to change the world, we're going to have to be proximate, change narratives, stay hopeful. But the fourth and final thing you're going to have to do is be willing to do things that are inconvenient and uncomfortable. And I hate saying that, because it's difficult to do things that are inconvenient and uncomfortable, because we're human. And humans are biologically and psychologically programmed to do what's comfortable, what's convenient, but to change the world, you're going to have to do inconvenient things, uncomfortable things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against comfort. That's not what I'm saying. I gave a talk down in Mississippi. The people met me at the airport. They said, oh, Mr. Stevenson, we know all about you. We know what kind of lawyer you are. We know what kind of work you do. We read your book. And they said, Mr. Stevenson, we're having our conference at the luxurious DoubleTree Hotel. They said, we decided that you would not want to stay at the luxurious DoubleTree Hotel. They said, we've asked one of the farmers to put you up at the barn. I said, what is wrong with you? I said, of course I want to stay in the luxurious DoubleTree Hotel. I like those chocolate chip cookies just like everybody else. That's not what I'm talking about. No, what I'm talking about is that sometimes you have to position yourself in uncomfortable places. And I'm here as a witness that when you do it, even though it may be difficult, even though it may be intimidating, there is something magical, something powerful that happens on the other side of it. You know, this was taught to me by an older man. I was giving a talk in a church. And this older man came into the back of the church. He was in a wheelchair, older black man. And I was giving my talk, but this older man in the back was staring at me with this stern, angry look on his face. I couldn't figure out, why is he looking at me so sternly? He looked angry. And I got through my talk, and people were very nice and appropriate. They came up to me, but that older black man was sitting at the back still staring. And finally, when everybody else left, this older black man wheeled himself to the front of the church. And when he got in front of me, he put his hand up. He had that stern look on his face. And he got in front of me, and he looked up at me, and he said, do you know what you're doing? And I just stood there. And then he asked me again, he said, do you know what you're doing? And I stepped back, and I mumbled something. I don't even remember what I said. Then he asked me again, he said, do you know what you're doing? And then this older man looked at me, he said, I'm going to tell you what you're doing. And this man looked at me and he said, "You're beating the drum for justice. You keep beating the drum for justice." And I was so moved. I was also really, really relieved because I just didn't know what was about to happen. And then this man grabbed me by my jacket and he pulled me into his wheelchair. He said, "Come here, come here, come here. I'm going to show you something." And this older black man turned his head. He said, "You see this scar I have behind my right ear?" He said, "I got that scar in Greene County, Alabama, 1963, trying to register people to vote." He turned his head. He said, "You see this cut I have down here at the bottom of my neck?" He said, "I got that cut in Philadelphia, Mississippi, 1964, trying to register people to vote." He turned his head. He said, "You see this dark spot?" He said, "That's my bruise. Got my bruise in Birmingham, Alabama, 1965, trying to register people to vote." Then he looked at me and he said, "I'm going to tell you something, young man." He said, "People look at me. They think I'm some old man sitting in a wheelchair covered with cuts and bruises and scars." He looked at me. He said, "But I'm going to tell you something." He said, "These are not my cuts." He said, "These are not my bruises." He said, "These are not my scars." He said, "These are my medals of honor." I tell you that because I believe that we can do something transformative. I believe really simple things. I believe that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. I believe if someone tells a lie, they're not just a liar. If they take something, they're not just a thief. I think even if you kill someone, you're not just a killer, and justice requires that we know the other things you are before we judge you. I am persuaded that in this country, the opposite of poverty is not wealth. We talk too much about money sometimes. I am persuaded that in this country and around the world, the opposite of poverty isn't wealth. I believe the opposite of poverty is justice. And when we do justice, we deconstruct the conditions that give rise to poverty. And finally, I believe if we're going to change the world, if we're going to create a new future, if we're going to use these degrees to allow things to change that must be changed, we have to accept that we cannot measure how we're doing by looking at how well we treat privileged people and powerful people and celebrated people. Our commitment to changing the world is going to have to be reflected in how we treat poor people, incarcerated people, neglected people, disfavored people. It's in that context that we change the world. And so, I just want you to remember that when you leave here today, nothing will determine your ability to change the world more than your heart. Your grades are not a measure of your capacity to change the world. Your income will not be a measure of your capacity to change the world. What will allow you to change the world is if you let the ideas in your mind be fueled by some conviction in your heart. The degree you receive today is so wonderful, so meritorious, so appropriate that we applaud you. But if you take that degree and you find ways to get proximate, if you find ways to change narratives, if you stay hopeful and you do uncomfortable things, you can put that degree on the wall. And in a few years, that degree won't just be a degree. It will be your medal of honor as a Hopkins graduate who is changing the world. I wish you to it, and thank you for all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson, for that stirring, inspiring address. The deans will now present doctoral candidates to receive their degrees. We ask the candidates to come forward without delay. Dean Morphew will begin by presenting the doctoral candidates from the School of Education.
Mr. President, John Dewey said, "Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself." As the Dean of the School of Life Itself, I am pleased to present to you candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the School of Education for their degree of Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you candidates unable to be present the degree Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy from the School of Education, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
For the Doctor of Education, Erwin Carlos Hess.
Janine Marie Kundrak.
Wait. Just one sec. There's a tradition here that we have observed over the last several years, and I'm going to ask your indulgence so that we can do it again this year. I note that we're all here in this room together as we have celebrated and saluted Erwin Carlos Hess, who is the candidate, of course, for the Doctor of Education. But as we're thinking about this moment, which is really a community moment, I'm worried a lot about Isabella Zellerbach. And Isabella, where are you? You're going to be the very last graduate that's going to come up here today. Isabella, can you stand up and wave, please? Now, I should say the protocol here at this moment is to ask you all to please be here for Isabella when she comes up to get the degree, so we all go through this together. But here's what happened. Yesterday, I thought it was really important, before I asked Isabella to stand up in front of this entire group, I thought it was important to give her a little bit of notice about what I was going to do to her. And I asked her, when I met with her, I said, so how is it always being at the end of the line? And she proceeded to tell me a tale that moved me, stirred me so deeply about what she has endured that goes back to kindergarten. She remembers the moment when she was pulled from one kindergarten class to the other and she had to wait till the end of the line. And so here's the thing. I was so moved by this that, Isabella, I'm going to ask you to come up now, and we're going to give your degree right now. Come on, come on. But you got to kick, Isabella, come on. You got to go up there. We need the dean here. We're doing this impromptu. You got to go. You got to go the other way. Come on. You can see she's so inexperienced at being first. Don't blame her. Now we got to do this right. Someone's going to read her name? Yes. Good. Read her name. And in the meantime, Anna Weshi, where are you? Can you stand up? Anna, you're last. But Anna, we're all going to be here for you. Let's get going. Okay.
Isabella E. Zellerbach.
Isabella says she's staying for Anna, so it's all good. Okay, let's get going.
Janine Marie Kundrak.
Joseph M. Riley. Nicholas Page Schweitzer.
Laura F. Shaw.
Emmanuel Taiwo. Reagan Elizabeth Weeks. For the Doctor of Philosophy, Sol B. Jung. Elizabeth Kim. Soo-yeon Yu Stiller.
Dean Bronstein will present the doctoral candidates from the Peabody Conservatory.
President Daniels, I'm pleased to present to you the outstanding candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the Peabody Conservatory for their degree of Doctor of Musical Arts.
Thank you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degree Doctor of Musical Arts from the Peabody Conservatory, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients of the degree just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
For the Doctor of Musical Arts, Nathan Wilson Ball. He sang Huang.
Dean Davidson will now present the doctoral candidates from the School of Nursing.
Mr. President, I'm thrilled and honored to present candidates from the #1 nursing school in the United States who are going to change this world and have been certified by the faculty of the School of Nursing for their degrees of the Doctor of Nursing Practice and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you very much, Dean. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degrees Doctor of Nursing Practice, Doctor of Philosophy from the School of Nursing, the #1 School of Nursing, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients of the degrees just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
For the Doctor of Nursing Practice, Mojan Azadi.
Anita Hannah Ben.
Farah Ward Bowler.
Judith Boyle.
Crystal Renee Michelle Brown.
Sharnita Michael Bryant.
Yvette Cardelli.
Suzanne Marie Coperthwaite.
Eleni Dukakis Flanagan.
Lisa Grubb.
Sherry Emerson Jones.
Celicia Williams Little.
Dawn Marie Rose Luzetsky. Roberto Luis Roman Laporte.
Marianne Catherine Shalmo.
Kristen Alisor Sheldon.
Cynthia Ward.
Janice Ketchum Williams. For the Doctor of Philosophy,
Lucine Petit Francis. Melissa Kurtz.
Tamar Rodney.
Erin Rachel Whitehouse.
Damali Makini Wilson.
Dean McKenzie will now present doctoral candidates from the Bloomberg School of Public Health.
Mr. President, it gives me a great pleasure to present a stellar group of candidates who are fully committed to our school's collective mission of protecting health saving lives millions at a time. They have been certified by the faculty of the Bloomberg School of Public Health for their degrees of Doctor of Public Health, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Science.
Thank you, Dean. And so, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degrees Doctor of Public Health, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Science from the Bloomberg School of Public Health, for which you have been certified by the faculty together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients of the degrees just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
For the Doctor of Public Health,
Farida Ismail Al-Hossani.
Chiki W. Nwangu, Radha Rajan,
Shinyi Tsai.
for the Doctor of Philosophy,
Yura Lydia Sarkis Augustina Vicius.
June Lily Chan, Krisha Priscilla Cowling, Yu Du, David Olawui Fakunle,
Yusuf Mohammed Kamal Farag. Jack Minyang Fu.
Wen Fang Gong,
James Bryan Harmon.
Yi Long Ji,
Dan Jiang. America Livingston. Adi Neumann.
Olanle Bose Olapeju, Emma Kilvington Stop, Fan Young,
Dean Nasser will present the doctoral candidates from the Paul H. Nietzsche School of Advanced International Studies.
Mr. President, the outstanding persons whose names are listed in the program and who have been certified by the faculty of the Paul H. Nietzsche School of Advanced International Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy cannot be present here today. I ask you to confer the degrees in absentia.
I'm, of course, disappointed that they're not here. But having said that, I'm working through it. And I say to you, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, with regret and pain, I confer upon the candidates unable to be present the degree Doctor of Philosophy from the Paul H. Nietzsche School of Advanced International Studies, for which they've been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Thank you, Dean.
Dean Rothman will now present doctoral candidates from the School of Medicine.
Thank you. I am so proud of this exceptional group of MDs and PhDs and all the work they've done to this point. While it's bittersweet to see you move on, I speak for the entire medical faculty when I say we are uplifted by the knowledge that so many of you will go on to achieve remarkable things, to ease human suffering, to produce scientific discoveries and medical breakthroughs that offer hope to people around the world. In other words, there is very little Netflix in your future. Mr. President, I am pleased to present to you the candidates who've been certified by the faculty of the School of Medicine for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Dean. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degrees Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Philosophy from the School of Medicine, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
for the Doctor of Medicine,
Sydney Allison Kramer.
Kranti Venkata Padada, For the Doctor of Philosophy, Matthew Lee Arwood. David Mark Huberdeau.
Benjamin Edward Gang.
Kelly Kiker Snowman. Yuki Muroyama. Oluwesen Basit Ogubona. Min Hee Oh.
Shiva Razavi.
Janaka Sarwanta.
Alistair Gabriel Suarez. Michael Edward Urbanowski. Xiaoli Wang. Lingyun Zhao.
Dean Schleisinger of the GWC Whiting School of Engineering will now present doctoral candidates in engineering.
Mr. President, I'm pleased to present the engineering candidates whose advances in technologies, with the exception of faster-than-light travel, make even the technology of Star Wars look so 20th century. Candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the GWC Whiting School of Engineering for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you, and of candidates unable to be present, the degree Doctor of Philosophy from the GWC Whiting School of Engineering, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients of the degree just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
For the Doctor of Philosophy,
Cynthia Diane Bothwell.
Shihan Chen.
Ismail Hamaduddin. Robin Sarah Broder Hidowitz.
Nicholas Michael Krywopusk.
Xianli Ma. Michael John Manto.
Daniel Richard Mendet. Erin Elizabeth Sutton. Sha-Xing Tao. Ya-Yun Wang.
Reza Yagmai.
Dean Wendland will now present doctoral candidates from the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences.
As Daniel Coit Gilman, our university's first president, advised his board of trustees, quote, enlist a great mathematician and a distinguished Grecian. Your problem will be solved. Given the breadth of fields from our 22 academic departments represented by this amazing group of doctoral degree recipients, Mr. President, I'm pleased to present the solution to your problems. They have been certified by the faculty of the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences for their degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you very much, Dean. And without any further ado, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degree Doctor of Philosophy from the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
Will the recipients of the degree just conferred please come forward when your name is called?
For the Doctor of Philosophy,
Karen Margaret Bryson. Marina Escolano Poveda. Genjo Gural. Lingli Wang. Christopher John Kaufman.
Adam Curran Reed.
Julia Elizabeth Slocum.
Jennifer Lee Surida. Han Su Wu.
Yi Xin.
Chunman Zhang.
We will now present master's degrees, graduate certificate, graduate performance diploma, and certificate of advanced graduate study candidates for the conferral of their degrees. All of the degrees being conferred today are listed in the commencement program. As the university's chief academic officer, it is my privilege to present these candidates on behalf of the deans of their respective schools. Would the master's and certificate candidates from the Carey Business School, master's, bachelor's, and certificate candidates from the School of Education, graduate performance diplomas and master's candidates from the Peabody Conservatory, master's candidates from the School of Nursing, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, and the Paul H. Nitze School of Advanced International Studies, the School of Medicine, master's and certificate candidates from the GWC Whiting School of Engineering and the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, please stand at your seats. Mr. President, I'm pleased to present to you candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the Johns Hopkins University for their degrees.
Thank you, Provost, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the master's degrees, graduate certificates, graduate performance diplomas, certificates of advanced study, and bachelor's degrees for which you have been certified by the faculties, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Let's give these folks a warm round of applause as we commend these graduates on their accomplishments. Thank you.
Recipients of the degrees just conferred, please be seated. The deans will now present candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science. We ask the candidates to come forward without delay. Dean Ferrari will present the Bachelor candidates from the Carey Business School.
Mr. President, I am pleased to present to you candidates who are armed with the knowledge and tools and the ethical principles to serve as business leaders and exemplary citizens. These candidates have been certified by the faculty of the Johns Hopkins Carey Business School for their degree of Bachelor of Business Administration.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration from the Carey Business School for which you've been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
We ask the recipients of the degree just conferred to please come forward when your name is called.
For the Bachelor of Business Administration,
Undral Jargal. Pakawad Manijamsai.
Daniel Anthony Ruck.
Luca Agnello Simmons.
Tirgun Batri, Ink Tool. Yushan Yang. Lantau Zhang.
Dean Bronstein will present the bachelor's candidates from the Peabody Conservatory.
President Daniels, there once was a young pianist from Pawtucket who placed all her dreams in the Peabody bucket.
I'm not sure. Are you sure this is going to go?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. The new curriculum arrived, and how her career thrived, and so now she summers in Nantucket. All right, it's apocryphal, but I am pleased to present to you the wonderful candidates rich in musical talent that have been certified by the faculty of the Peabody Conservatory for the degree Bachelor of Music.
Well, it's with some relief that this ended up in the right place that I now say, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degree Bachelor of Music from the Peabody Conservatory for which you have been certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
We ask the recipients of the degree just conferred to please come forward when your name is called.
For the Bachelor of Music, Yunlang Chen.
Tianrun Long.
Andrew M. Im. Rachel Christina Jones.
Tammy Lee. Kayan Scanterbury. Esther Yian Tian.
Dean Schleichinger will now present bachelor's candidates from the GWC Whiting School of Engineering.
Any chance your students are going to exhibit the same enthusiasm when they cross the stage?
Oh, I think so. Mr. President, with so much being said today about technologies such as three-dimensional printing, machine learning, or artificial intelligence, it is with great pride that I present to you engineering students who have completed a multi-dimensional course of human learning and displayed real intelligence. The candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the GWC Whiting School of Engineering for their degrees of Bachelor of Science in an engineering discipline, Bachelor of Arts in an engineering discipline, and Bachelor of Arts.
Thank you, Dean, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degrees of Bachelor of Science in an Engineering Discipline, Bachelor of Arts in an Engineering Discipline, and Bachelor of Arts from the GWC Whiting School of Engineering, for which you have been duly certified by the faculty, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations.
We ask that the recipients of the degrees just conferred to please come forward when your name is called after we have recognized the graduates who are seated on stage. Names will be called in alphabetical order by degree.
I will now announce the names of the onstage candidates and ask that they come forward when called. For the Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, Jonah M. Rosas. For the Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, Annika Catherine Heisley Stokel. For the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Sarah Marie Zappone.
For the Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics and Statistics,
Miranda Bachman.
Anna Bartoli.
Sue Bian.
Juan Bowie.
Nicholas Burns.
Chase J. Sikora.
Valerie Michelle Chavez.
Argentina J. Schrappa.
Catherine Elizabeth Cummings.
Alexander Darwish.
Scott DeLauder.
Kathleen DeMaria.
Richard Pengfei Ding.
Brandon Doderstadt.
Santiago Luis Encarnacion.
Julia Ann Eubank.
Joseph Anthony Falco. Martin Feuerstein Mendick.
Matthew M. Fischetti.
Jennifer Lynn Flournoy.
Ryan L. Friedman.
Neil Wheeler Gayhart.
Prananthi Ghani.
Jasmine Gelbart.
Hamima Nasrin Halim.
John Holmes II.
Judding John.
Myung-woo Kim.
Sungwon Kim. Alice Lee.
Gabrielle Lifflander.
Hong Jiao Liu. Avi Mahajan.
Emily Chun Mak.
Thomas George Marge.
John Ralph Mark.
Catherine Darrow Marks. Gabrielle Christiana Wendy Moss. David Alex Nessenson. Avik Lingdo Pakrasi.
Jay Gone Park.
Lyle Tassenario Poisson. Yujiwan Kiyo.
Catherine Anna Quiroz.
Daniel Jonathan Rabizada.
Surya Gopala Ram.
Emily J. Ramos.
Ilan Gabriel Rich.
Anna Malin Rittenberg.
Alexandra Renee Rodriguez.
Lucas Bennett Rosen.
William Roy Sherbo.
Sienna Suzanne Schmid.
Zoe Rebecca Rosen Skurletis.
Jin Young Shin.
Mauricio Andre Silva. Eleanor West.
Alice Ferreira White.
Brooke Doreen Willard.
Sarah K. Wijak.
Amy Anyu Shu.
Sylvia Yeren Yoon.
Anan Zhang.
Junfan Zhao.
For the Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering.
Christine Miriam Adib.
Anna Mariam Ainechi.
Amna Ali.
Gabrielle Allred. Thomas Lee Athey.
Melissa Ann Austin.
Shreya M. Aswathi.
Callie Alexandra Barnes.
Allison Bartkovsky.
Rohith Madhira Bedanana Botla.
Tara Blair.
Elisa Josephine Volkova Brown.
Stephanie Lynn Kai.
Megan Elizabeth Callanan.
Natalie L. Campbell.
Raymond Cow.
Sophia Tingren Chang.
Conan Chen.
James Chen.
Tiffany Xiao Chen.
Yoon Chen Chen.
Eric Chang.
Chang Wuan Chui.
Olivia Choi.
Kirsten Nicole Coletti.
Sarah Cronin.
Victor Dadfar.
Himanshu Dashora.
Callie Dang.
Sophia Anna Dorr.
Blackberry Emily Edens.
Nicholas Wing Leeng.
Lauren Fong.
Victoria Fang.
Clark James Fisher.
William Hiroki Franceschi.
Saki Fujita.
Harun Seifullah Gori.
Anders Lane Gould.
Pratik Gowda.
Sunny Han.
Zachary Jonathan Hyman.
David Raymond Helfer.
Dylan Hirsch.
Hallelujah Horvath.
Sinwon Huang.
Joshua Tyler Hughes.
Asim Jain.
Ashutosh Jindal.
Min Gul Ju.
Rohit Joshi. Jake Do-hyun Kim.
Han Bin Kim.
Paul Kim.
Danny Kiasa.
Alexandros Konstantopoulos.
Michael Kiwan Ku.
Shrisha Kotlo.
Vanessa Ku.
Albert S. Lee.
Arnav Malhotra.
Gunnar Matson.
Sammy Masai. Skylar Ashley Metzger.
Michael Ken Morikubo.
Jared Jeffries Mosher.
Michael Kenneth Mudgett.
Michael James Murphy. Harrison Huean Nguyen.
Michael Oluwale.
Pranay Orugunta. Anya Neve O'Sullivan.
Angela H. Park.
Archon Patel. Olivia Isabel Puleo.
Benjamin Lee Ramsey.
Jesse Randall Rhines.
Annabeth Rodriguez.
Dennis Rutkovich.
Vignesh Sadraz.
Barada Sakal Singh Prapa.
Priya Satyana Rayan.
Daphne Esther Schlesinger.
Mariah Schrum.
Hayan Judith Anna Schwartz. Manu Sharma.
Gianluco Camargo Silva Crozo.
Jonathan Thomas Smith.
Jin Yong Son.
Jose Alberto Solis. Wu Yang Sun. Anshul Subramanya.
Sarah Sukardi.
Tony Sun.
Mark Paladin Supranant.
Abhilash Suresh.
Sunny Thodu Panori.
Serena Mary Thomas.
Richard S. Vivek Vadlamudi.
Fernando Vicente.
Andrew Reese Victor.
Yamini Vyas.
Eric L. Walker.
Alan Weiyang Wang Wang.
Judy Jachi Wang.
Tony Wang.
Jacob Shi Wei.
Jessica Jiashin Wu.
Vincent Wu.
Amy Xiao.
Rahul Sai Yarabelli.
Felix Yu.
Daniel Yitian Yuan.
Luke Zhu.
Alice Ling Zhou.
For the Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, Alexan Adal.
Mustafa Ali.
Ifosa Amadesu.
Simon David Barnett. Ebony Blaze.
Abigail Buckley.
Jeffrey Chang.
Bryan Chen.
Evelyn Yining Chu.
Jae Uk Chung.
Alexander Almela Conklin.
Courtney Cowan.
Anna Christine DeBerry.
John Paul Del Toro.
Jacob Sahog Dale. Michael Ian Druckman.
Anwesha Dubé.
Lucas Escobar.
Gareth Evans.
Abhishek AJ Gami.
Elisa Gao.
Ana Garcia.
Isabella Garcia.
Joan Golding.
Troy Joseph Gonzalez.
Thomas Carl Griefa.
Rohan Bodh Gupta.
Yu Sang Han.
Colton Hebert.
Richard J. Hommel. Harsh Kapadia.
Mira Muthachi Kizavan.
Eric Q Nam Kim.
Bess Margot Kitzmiller.
Daniel Alex Cofton.
Leo Joseph Kuwama.
Olatundun Yasha Ladele.
Kun Mo Lee.
Kenny Ling. Sebastian Lozano.
Antonio Temarubun Malakad.
Arisa Morgan.
Jack Mountain.
Milena Nino.
June Ha Park.
Anish G. Petankar.
Jeff Peng.
Leo Pascal Potters.
Emily Ann Rembert.
Jordan L. Rivera.
Luis Miguel Rodriguez.
Zachary John Rodriguez. Harry Edward Rudolph.
Joanne Schneider.
Nikhil A. Shah.
Vishwesh Shah.
Upurv Hirsch Shaker.
Ariana Sherman.
Daniel Antonio Tanchez. Dong Ho Shin.
Christina Bernadette Skalitsky.
Noah Daniel Stanko.
Paige Noel Stanley.
Ian Christopher Stark. Lily J. Sue.
Haven Tabrizi.
Matthew Ryan C. Tan.
Q. Tran.
Solomon Vainstein.
Casey Van Slyke.
Shuhung Wang.
Joey Way.
Elise Wilson.
Sun Wong.
Kevin Gar Wu.
Brandon Yu. For the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering.
Ryan Rusk Carey.
Stephanie Helen Coronado.
Evan Charles Edgen.
Keontae M. Henson.
Louise Januzzi.
Emily Kaylin Kennel.
Sun Jin Kim.
Yan Liu.
Juan Camilo Londano.
Nicholas Stephen Marinelli.
Preston Brooks Marshall Jr.
Richard Timothy Polton.
Michael Thomas Smith.
David Weiner Light.
Adriano Zarzer.
For the Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. Ashwin Bott. Benjamin Joseph Hortnagle Pereira.
Sydney Marie Jackson.
Matthew J. Kosarek.
Nitin Nikhil Kumar.
Yatching Jacob Lin.
Raphael Norman Tenazas.
Elijah Joseph Paivo.
Gary Guanlin Chen.
Nav Talker.
Eric Tsai.
Lawrence Ravi Wolf Sankin. For the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science.
Tanay Agarwal.
Sang Hyun An.
Anand Shahi Ahuja.
Michael Ashmead.
Emily Brahma.
Olivia Caparizzo.
Christopher Bryan Cardoz.
Kiki Chang.
Tucker Chapin.
Harrison M. Cohen.
Matthew Cohen Green. Marshall Demery.
Ryan Denz.
Alexander Usman.
Andrew Fan.
Mark Benjamin Feldman.
Ayal Foni.
Achintya Gopal.
Nicholas Raymond Hale.
Heather Hahn.
Hugh Hahn.
Amy He. Yijun Hu.
Alexander Albert Irikura.
Tony Zhao Jiang.
Emily Rose Johnson.
Tushar Muralidhara Joyce.
Layla Kasiri.
Maria Vadimovna Kazajakova. Austin James Kemper.
Baekjeon Kim.
Chung Wan Kim.
Tony Kim.
Ye Chan Kim.
Nirmal S. Krishnan.
Shiv Krishnan.
Christy Lee.
Ju Chang Lee. Dylan R. Lewis.
Jeffrey Alexander Lewis.
David Ziming Lee.
Jonathan Liu.
Suyi Liu.
Ryan Marin.
Anuj Mendarada.
Tony Mello. Derek John Modulewski.
Ryan Cole Newell.
Angelo Joseph Olachesi.
Tristan Marcus Orton Urbina.
Alexander McCraw Owen.
Meng Ying Pan. Mariano Panini.
Jordan David Pekar.
Matthias Philippine. Naina Rowe.
Nathaniel Lang Rhodes.
Mark B. Rosen.
Matthew Saltzman.
Henrik Nielsen Shu. Alexander Emmanuel Sharada.
Stephen Alexander Shearing.
Daniel T. Smiley.
William Sun. Colton Kali'i Takata.
Sharmila Tamby. Paul G. Watson.
William Watson.
John Daniel Wilson.
Lucas Emmanuel Leoncinus Winch.
Jia Ya Wu. Jason S. Yim. For the Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Alex Enrico Bocchieri.
Sherry Chu.
Ryan Christopher Demo. Dimitri Greco Herr.
John William Hughes.
Thomas Keaty.
Nicole Unhe Kim.
Peter A. Klinkmuller.
Oric Sarkar.
Charles Thornton.
Daniel Stephen Vreslovic.
Brian UN. For the Bachelor of Science in Engineering Mechanics, Emily Carolyn Bell.
Navina Marinkovic.
Michael Aaron Posen. For the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering,
Yuanlei Chen.
Anthony Ariano DeFurio.
Lucas Cedric Duffy.
Helen Rochelle Girard.
Danielle Jacobson.
Bavisha Kalyan.
Alexander Elton Ross.
Amanda Sun.
Laura Supple.
Xinshu Tian. For the Bachelor of Science in Materials Science and Engineering, Andrew J. Arceo.
A. Jacob Bizub.
Nicholas Bodner.
Khalid Elawad.
Madeline Els.
Grace Howe.
Alan C. Lai.
Kevin Junting Lee.
Maria Fernanda Lugo Fagundo.
Lakin Nicole Mayo.
Nikhil Menon.
Kevin Nekochia.
Roshan Joseph Plamthottam.
Eric Wilson Rothschild.
Omar Jonathan Saul.
Evan Charles Smith.
Austin Thomas Wilson.
Wei Yen Ye.
For the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, John Navarro Aguilar.
Elaine Asare.
Adrian Hosam Au.
David Lee Austin.
Rachel Sohyun Bang.
Mina Bulis Banoob.
Max Basescu.
Amy Michelle Boulier.
Matthew William Brandeis.
Brett David Caggiano. Martha Isabel Cervantes.
Kevin Chang.
Joseph Chengwan Chong.
Alexander Ross Cohen.
Andrew Palmer Colombo.
Kyle Duran.
Sina Fahimi Hanzahi.
What the hell?
Eric Feldman.
Brandon Fielder. Huidun Gao.
Jeffrey Charles Goldsmith.
Avi Ethan Gordon.
Abhinav Goyal.
Matthew Joseph Gramulia.
Jordan Mahalik Guto.
Gigi Habibi.
Jan Nicholas Hagemeister.
Elizabeth Hallenborg.
Jessica Elizabeth Harsono.
Matthew Gregory Heacock.
Andrew Thomas Holliday.
Matthew Hoon.
Zachary Austin Jacobson.
Daniel Youngjin Jung.
Connor Stephen Joyce.
Eugene Kang.
Justin Kang. Osama Nadine Kokar.
Ji Woon Kim.
Alex Kluyev.
Davis Whitfield Knox.
Elizabeth Mary Konopaki.
Magdalene Koo.
Ryan Charles Kunzer. Duan Lee.
Matthew Xiaoyu Ma.
Sharon McGuire.
Gabriel Isaac Mayman.
Neil Stanton McCarter.
Nathan Anthony McIntosh.
Jesse Joseph Miller.
Poojan Modi. Jonah Casey Muniz.
Emily Hope Palmer. Panth S. Patel. Florian Cornelius Pontenay.
Rachel Rex.
Andre Davidson Ruas.
David Andrew Sampson.
Rafael Santore.
Christopher Julian Schurz.
Courtney Marie Schmidt.
Wohao Swen.
Natasha Suri.
Michael Stanley Swers.
Brendan Zawalski.
Daniel Jacob Tabus.
Jessamy Wren Taylor.
Stefan Gil Teste.
Frank Jerome Wagoner.
Nathaniel John Welsh.
William Wayland Bridge.
Mark Russell Wilson, Jr.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Biomedical Engineering, Sandra Itzel Gomez Romero. For the Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science,
Benjamin Plotkin Gelman.
Amy Marie Howell.
Imani Josan McCorvey. Malini Elizabeth Valiev. William Yao.
Each of you is a vibrant and vital part of our university community. Today, as we celebrate your achievements, we also, as it's been referenced a few times before today, remember those who aren't with us. Your classmate, Jeremy Huber, a fellow member of the Krieger School, exemplified the spirit of the university, as do you. May your common commitment to intellectual inquiry and devotion to serving others help guide us as we work together to create a safer, more humane world for all.
Dean Wendland will present the bachelor candidates from the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences.
Having come to the Dean's office at the same moment as all of these graduates, we share much in common. Experiencing things we never could have dreamed of, making interesting new friends, and like you, I've spent the last 4 years working harder, learning more, and getting less sleep than ever before. So, Is it a coincidence that Insomnia Cookies opened its doors just in time to come to our sleepy rescue? Mr. President, I think not. As a self-proclaimed honorary member of the class of 2018, it is my honor to pledge to our class gift the amount necessary to bring us to our goal of $20,000. Mr. President, I am pleased to present to you candidates who have been certified by the faculty of the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences for their degrees of Bachelor of Science in an Arts of Science discipline and Bachelor of Arts.
Thank you so much, Dean, and thank you for that top-up gift. So, for the very last time today, you probably can recite this with me. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, I confer upon each and every one of you and candidates unable to be present the degrees of Bachelor of Science in an Arts or Science discipline and Bachelor of Arts from the Zanville Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, for which you have been certified by the faculty together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Warmest congratulations, and Anna, stay tuned. We're getting closer. Thank you.
We ask the recipients of the degrees just conferred to please come forward when your name is called. After we have recognized the graduates who are seated on stage, names will be called in alphabetical order by degree, then by major.
I will now announce the names of the on-stage candidates and ask that they come forward when called. For the degree Bachelor of Science, majoring in Molecular and Cellular Biology, Miraf Adunya Teka. For the degree Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Sociology, Kwame G. Alston. Joshua Ray Bertolato. Majoring in Writing Seminars, Haley Esther Dott. Samantha Elizabeth Igo. Majoring in Sociology, Torero Denise McConey. Majoring in Psychology, Takachi Teresa Osaji. Majoring in Writing Seminars, Alberto Enrique Muniz. Majoring in International Studies, Tatiana Alicia Sorensen. For the Bachelor of Science in Molecular and Cellular Biology,
Eric Aranda Michel.
Christine Carlos Atik.
Pranshu Barthawach. Quentin Eric Borgerson.
Isabel Brown.
Kylie Melissa Brown.
Patricia Bujimala. Javier Andres Casado Cochero.
Michael Vincent Carter.
Dia Sabrina Chandra.
Jocelyn Joy Chang.
Ellen Chen. Sabrina Lauren Chen. Sophia Chen.
Daniel Choi. Alina Corona,
Sage Corzine, Charles Edward Crepy Dorleen,
Micah B. Daly,
Elizabeth Virginia Doherty,
Lance Del Rosario,
Zalalam Demery,
Frederick Canton Durham,
Lily Fang,
Alyssa Catherine Flynn,
Belinda Frangai,
Sashini Godegay,
Pedro Anthony Gomez, Ginny Huang,
Jun Ho Huang,
Maru Jamie Garza,
Elise Jalisi,
Sun Hyung Jang,
Jasmine Johnson,
Anna Elizabeth Jones,
Raihan Kabir,
Kiara Kaler,
Samuel Joseph Cairns,
Grace Kim,
Jisoo Kim,
Sung Han Kim,
Nathan Youngjin Ko,
Gregory John Koner,
Abhijay Kumar,
Chitanjali Makshnarayanan, Jennifer Lee,
Joey H. Lee, David Lumelski,
Alexandra Teresa Luna,
David Ramirez Chavez,
Ajay Mehta,
Julio Andre Mesa,
Jane Miglo,
Maria Claudia Moncaliano,
Darius Mustagami, Kasturi Nair,
Olutosun Owuyemi,
Yomini Padabandla, Claudia Elizabeth Perez, Alexandra Popovic,
Victoria Rachel Roberts,
Lani Sara Raskas,
Sunak Roy, Ronit Schwartz,
Daniel Abraham Schwartzbaum,
Ji Su Shin,
Vivek Singh,
Sajana Sivinagnam,
Jonathan Cameron Snedeker,
Jihei Grace Snyder,
Aiken Sugunro,
Lydia Sun,
Christopher Michael Stock,
Justin Thomas,
Rachel Ann Vasquez,
Mark Vidovichenko,
Sunena Vora,
Harsh Wadwa,
Abigail Carlina Weiland,
Christelle Erland Warren,
Anna Wisniewski, Chi Sin Wu,
Thaddeus Kevin Woodard, John Chen Yap,
Ji Han Yin,
Jia Xin Ying,
Ashley Yu,
Colburn M. Yu.
Joel Andres Saltambite. Christina Diana Adorador Zambo.
Liddy Zhang.
Yi Peng Zhang.
Suojo Chao.
Amy Zhang.
Trustee Zhang.
For the Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience, Ala El Fatih Abdel Wahab.
Maya Janae Adams.
Daniel Lewis Aegis.
Sarfraz Rayman Akmal.
Samuel Job Allen.
Emily Jean Alway.
Carla Bachia.
Julia Bate.
Abhijit Reddy Patni.
Rocio Denise Bermudez.
Anush Bummer. Aaron Andrew Bickert.
Lena Bless.
Kelly Elizabeth Bowen.
Biobella Kristen Braid. Leslie Bruni.
Nicholas Andres Cepeda.
Grace Chen.
Michelle Ji Hui Cho.
Tiffany Chu. Garland Colas.
Brendan Connolly.
Wade Conrad Coomer.
Louis Cortina.
Karis Bryn D'Alessandro.
Timidele Davis. Sydney Easton Doman.
Megan Rose Donnelly. Ernest Olamide Ekonsatan.
Ora Elias.
Jeffrey Peter Eskra.
Caitlin Marie Fisher.
Nicole Gutierrez.
Dimitri Saya Gui. Anthea Harvey Brown.
Monica Karina Herrera.
Harriet Shia.
Caitlin Elizabeth Jones.
Haley Garland Jordan. Sue Jun. In Guk Kang.
Jayanidi Kera.
Anshul Avinash Kenkare.
Minji Kim.
Minju Kim.
Samuel Koo.
Rachel Christine Krieger.
Ashwin Kambat.
Shreya Kunatavarju.
Sharon Lamb.
Erica Brittany Lee. Julie Lee.
Michelle Sehi Lee. Catherine Elise Link.
Alex Liu. Nicholas Longson.
Daniel Lopez.
Nathan Kenneth Louis.
Jasmine Nicole Love.
Sabrina Mackey Alfonso.
Ami Mange.
Michael Margren.
Clarissa Page Martin.
Layla Ashley Mashouf.
Raghav Mada.
Amy Herbert Monasterio.
Ta Chung Mo.
Nade Miriam J.
Elsa Nico.
Christy Okoye. Elsa Anna Olson.
Aaron Shannon Ong.
Griffith Kyle Otazu. Jonathan Paris.
Jisoo Park.
Anik Sanjay Patel.
Andrew John Patera.
David Daniel Perez Torres.
Nicole Pettis.
Dai Fan.
Christopher Jeffrey Pope.
John Cronin Quinn. Eileen Jeanette Ramirez.
Richard Ramirez Garcia.
Kendall Jameson Tanner Wrights.
Juliana Alhisa Rivera Casul.
Indigo Vox Loring Rose. Sneha Saha.
Michelle Santangelo. Mark Scotto Divetta.
Randall Alexander Serafini. Fiona Schwa.
John Junsup Shin.
Teokyu Shin.
Mariah Shishikura.
Marcela Sierra Arce.
Natalia Sonson Diaz. Adrian Suarez.
Cynthia Sun.
Sai Manoja Tularu.
Wen Te. Miguel Eduardo Tusa.
John Taylor Teicher.
And a Pernavada Party.
Ricardo Villanueva.
Andres Villanueva Romero.
Juliet Maria Villegas. Kimberly Wang. Sabrina Jaeyoon Wang.
Christopher Michael Wend.
Adam Robert Wolin.
Miles David Wood.
Hanchi Wu.
Thomas Wyatt.
Sonal Sharda.
Shnonan Yang. Rebecca Yejin Yun.
Jesse Ji Yi Zhang.
Rebecca Kate Chang. The Bachelor of Science in Physics.
Taiki Esanuma.
Haley June Chunshin Austin. Robert Stewart Barr. Lance Martin Corbett.
Hallie Cromley.
James Kent Damewood.
Alec Farid.
Olivia Juliet Gebhardt.
Austin C. Hopkins.
Yujun Huang.
Edward Lee. Dennis Jared McInerney.
Junghyun Min.
Brent Fairley Page.
Jungsu Park. Derek Russell Wrights. Gary Rhodes.
Jose Javier Velez.
Tren Xiao Zheng. For the Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology, Christian Thomas Cholish.
Dylan Villavisanes.
Madison Diane Wall.
Sarah Yu.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, Madalena Jaffe Brancati.
Margaret Elizabeth Friel.
Margaret Friel.
Samantha Joanne Smart.
Elizabeth Rose Winkelhoff.
The Bachelor of Arts in Behavioral Biology. Ani Jabril Ajabi Lopez.
Austin Chase Barton.
Rebecca Shelley Camacho. Waylon Chan.
Ikechubu Enenome.
Diego Alonso Gonzalez.
Maya Misuk Goodby.
Bridget Aviv Gottlieb.
Lauren Elizabeth Granada.
Rishab Gurnani.
Shams Shabab Haider.
George Shreff.
Gwynnie Lamastra.
Louis Max Levine.
Justin David Lopez.
Anita Senhui Louis.
Tamar Masio.
Megan Elizabeth McDermott. Ashley Ann Newsom.
Natalie Wei Chin.
Ezekiel Ramos.
Monica Cristina Rodriguez Fernandez.
Neftali Rosado Bermudez.
Tony Rose San Miguel.
Branch Stewart Shoemaker. The Bachelor of Arts in Biology. Zane Alpizar. Inez Alexa Boto.
Abanud Awad.
Ariana Davina Budu.
Francesca Marie Colley.
Lauren Ann Fogelman.
Priscilla Marie Garza.
Cameron Kate Eugenie Harper.
Shania Maria Johnson.
Morgan Kutzler.
Amanda Sunja Lee. Victoria Liu.
Frederick George McCall.
Sophia Jean Grebe Murphy.
Eliana Parajon.
Krishan Rosel Osorio Pualo.
Jessica Lynn Peterson. Morgan J. Patas.
Jordan Santiago.
Joanna Marie Svensson.
Roxanne Fang Chao Traeger.
Eric Zhang. Ryan K. Ward. Carolyn Lily Winston.
Nathan Hong Yen Shu. For the Bachelor of Arts in Biophysics, Alice Pearl Alexander. Grace G. Hay Beck.
Anthony Joseph Bautista.
Anant Bhargav.
Eleanor M. Burton. Amelia Afua Clark.
Jonathan Lee Fu. Kush Kapadia.
Young Wook Kim.
Pavita Krishna Kota.
Jasmine Kaur Mali.
Michael Huang Shang.
Maxwell White.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Daniel Ahn.
Morgan Victoria Bolster.
Chloe Chow.
Eric C. Chan.
Kyle Huao Chang.
Joseph L. Da.
Andrada Diaconescu.
Kelsey Danielle Harper.
Cindy Jiang.
Daniel Eli Kaganov.
Satwik Katragada.
Alexander Kosek.
Vrin Babu Lad.
Jae Young Lee.
Tu Tran Nguyen. Alexander Robert Taylor. Stephanie Tenney.
Jason Matthew Timmerman. Lucy Sun Zhang.
Joshua Lee Su.
Alessandra Mary Zito.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Classics,
Jacob David Klein.
Ariel Rose Krakow.
Kelly Catherine McBride.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Cognitive Science, Lucas Adams.
Cynthia Obstein.
Manuel Kalichi Basil.
Elizabeth Chang.
Maria Zdenka Kronios.
Hannah Paris Cowley.
Marissa Christine Ferrios.
Gabrielle Alexandra Gauthier.
Alessandra Gabriela Golden.
Jorge Gonzalez.
Connor Anthony Hare.
Rachel Aaron Huslid.
Aditi Kanan.
Esther Kim.
Aditi Kanan.
Lori Alexis Lateran.
Spandana Mundaloju.
Morgan Mark. Maria Paula Ortiz Gonzalez.
Jung Hyun Park.
Jamie Minji Park.
Monica Ah Young Sun. Sabina Hanna Tylovitz.
Jack Joseph Valenti.
Aranima Vijay.
Taylor Jean Washington.
Athena Joy Sum Wong.
Kanjanapat Yanvatsikal.
The Bachelor of Arts in Earth and Planetary Sciences,
Erica Johnston.
Sydney Reamer.
Naomi Joyce Rogers.
Mira Sobey.
Stephanie Grace Stetz. Megan Ruth Sullivan.
For the Bachelor of Arts in East Asian Studies, Daniel March. For the Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Anishka Agarwal.
Arshad Amin Ajani.
Trevor Ross Allen. Anisha Anand.
Nicholas Arango.
Abhijide Samuel Bemaboye.
Ali Mijung Brokarov.
David Allen Brookhart.
William Scott Bryden.
Thomas Burke.
Anthony Brian Campanelli.
Matthew Thomas Chen.
Christopher Choi.
Francesco Clara Jr.,
Andrew Dodd Collins,
Ellen Marie Collins,
Patrick Maxwell Collins,
Peter Joseph Conzola,
Ronan Colbert Cordial,
Olivia Catherine Davies, Christopher DiGiacomo, Chloe Duke,
Peter M. Durham,
Deandra Daniel Eberhard,
Molly Eliza Duddleson Elder,
Ahmed El Tayeb Al Hassan,
Michelle Engelhardt,
Arthur Cole Evanson, Ellen Gao,
Veronica Sylvia Gaspar,
Elizabeth Loring Gerhardt,
Michael C. Gentili,
Andrew Stephen Gibson,
Georgios Guilino,
Lance Tyler Hammond,
Caroline Harris,
Brandon Kum Hong Dominguez, Samuel William Jackson,
Connor Mason Johnson,
Carl Johnson,
Gabriel Cabaridi, Ryan Alexander Kellner,
Min Soo Jenny Kim, Austin Kwan, George Xiang Lee,
Marissa Elizabeth LaCursey,
Yao Lin,
Samuel Chapman Lynch,
Alexander Fisher Maybe,
Christopher Martin,
George Martin, William Tucker Madison,
John Paul Mazzacane,
Bailey Alexandra Monaco,
Michael Andrew Monday,
Tori Palmer,
Saborna Panja,
Lauren Elaine Roberts,
Hayden Parker Rosenthal, Fidel Sadbu Montes de Oca,
Dane Roberts Senert,
Catherine Elizabeth Shadlock,
Ria Nilesh Shah,
Zachary Russell Shelley,
Ziyu Shi,
Caroline Grace Shinsky,
James Douglas Sullivan,
Nakarit Devahastan Sutapreda,
Patrick Thorman,
Andrew William Tomani,
Shirley Wang, Preston Stryker Wassells,
Colby Douglas Wilson,
Raichi Yang. For the Bachelor of Arts in English, Anya Rachel Chen,
Emily Ann DeLeo,
Aaliyah Doctor,
Abigail Lee Eisenstadt,
Kayla Gontas,
Amy Yumeng He,
Andrea Chi Yun Kim, Emily Kelly Purceller,
Zareen Sarwar,
Sherry Jessica Simkovic,
Emily Taylor Sue,
William George Teodoro, Elizaveta Tishenko, Molly Young, For the Bachelor of Arts in Film and Media Studies,
Sarah Chisty.
Miranda Brooke Gardner.
Gabriel Herrick Henderson Gaston.
Errol Avery Koenig.
Kira Alice Lesser.
Ryan McConnell.
Lydia Josephine Milano. Robert Bourne Peretti. Renee Elise Scavone.
Alphonse Silvestri.
Nathaniel David Swire.
Emily Victoria Trendle.
Taylor Campbell Veraca.
Amelia Claire Voos. Kelsey Paige Wadill.
Jillian Marie Waldo.
For the Bachelor of Arts in French, Nicole Elise Braun.
Je Chi Lee.
Christy Reed. For the Bachelor of Arts in Global Environmental Change and Sustainability,
Alexandra Nicole Bull. Jess Lynn Carney.
Regina Ferrara.
Cody Cook Folta.
Victoria Christine Gramulia.
Claire Elizabeth Gray.
Matthew Ian Hans.
Nicole Alessandra Israel Mayer.
Louis Joseph Kay.
Nina K. Kraus. Carly Elizabeth Patron.
Benjamin Wasserman Stern. Lauren Rose Stetz.
Okay, so we've been at this for a while, and you're all doing wonderfully well, but it seems like we could use that seventh inning stretch. So we've asked our leaders that are on the stage here, the officers of the great class of 2018, to help us. And so if you wouldn't mind coming up and lead us in the seventh inning stretch.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news talking this and that.
Okay. That was one very last inspired act of leadership by our class officers. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to it.
For the Bachelor of Arts in History,
Sydney Nicole Baker.
Anders Thomas Bright.
Zachary Max Broner.
Melanie Capruso.
Anna Chuck.
Sean Francis Galvin.
Oscar Hairston Diamisis.
Haley Oak Hansen.
Kira Rose Henson.
Anne-Louise Holmuller.
Malika Iyer.
William Daniel Moon Kirsch. Sierra Drew Love.
Rory Alexander McLean.
Sarah Lane Schreiber. Nina Jessica White. For the Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, Rafi Serge Karjian.
Jenny Rebecca Nadell.
Sabrina Noel Villota Archibald.
Roar Shun Yin.
For the Bachelor of Arts in History of Science, Medicine, and Technology, Amber Dawn Liang Yu Chen Goodspeed.
Rohan Kuravia.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Study, Benjamin Michael Costello. For the Bachelor of Arts in International Studies, Audrey Michelle Adams.
Roshni Ahmed.
Aria Alberton. William Whitney Anderson.
Emmeline Armitage.
Lillian Margaret Barani.
Mia Shoshana Berman. Abigail Claire Beesman.
Peyton Elise Blackstock.
Molly Brainbeal.
Charles Fowler Carroll.
Ashley Chen. Alexander Nicholas Donovan.
Sarah Ruth Fauska. Serena Allison Frechter.
Carrie Elise Fries.
Alex Garcia Fernandez.
Isabel Faye Goldstein. Ryan Connor Greenwald.
Caroline Maria Gradak.
Mary Gronkowitz.
Catherine Elizabeth Gross.
Dennis Hung Woo Han.
Sarah Elise Harrison. Greta Ann Helvey.
Eric Jeffrey Herbert.
Kelly Ann Hunn.
Zachary Michael Jaffe.
Jeffrey Hunter Caslow.
Omar Ahmed Khatib.
Daniel Kim.
Patricia Hea Lim Kim.
Zia Yao Quick. Monica Larson. Ian Maddox.
John Edward McMullen.
Sophie Mervis.
Christina Murillo.
Alina Nasser.
Emily Newman.
Malin Nusari Nusari. Matthew Ortiz.
Julianne Hannah Pack.
Paulina Gabrielle Parsons.
Emily Pastrana. Alondra Polino.
Thomas N. Pierce.
Luca Antonio Pinelli.
AJ A. Prabat. Wiley Carew Rice.
Gabriela Sofia Rico. Sarah Rosenberg.
Sophia Schonenberg. Timothy Shea.
Anna Silk.
Helen Song. Eleanor Kirtland Strauss.
Warren Hian Tarn.
Corey Evan Tell. Sandy Vingo. Julia Lynn Wargo.
Grant Austin Welby.
Ava Margaret White.
Sarah Wolf.
Heidi Rose Wool. Elizabeth Nicole Wurstel.
Lisa Julianne Shao.
Michelle Yang.
Kwai Yu. Chris Zhou. For the Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics, Thomas Brazelton.
Jordan Antonio Britton. Munir Barudi.
Eric Rodney Carlson.
Christopher Chia. Alexander Ford Johnson.
Oral Malapani Scala.
Akio Cheryl Murata.
Karen Lu Sheng.
Emerald Fitri Zanol Abedin. For the Bachelor of Arts in Medicine, Science, and the Humanities,
David Joshua Hamburger.
Anisette Miranda Ruda.
Sonobar Sheikh.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Natural Sciences area,
Daniel Rodriguez Alves Chabane.
Henry Dana.
Fishan Nursi. Chigoze Okeke. Isabel Randazzo.
William Solar. Berkeley Kwan Song.
Kyle J. Verdine.
Aries Visaji. Rebecca Zhang. The Bachelor of Arts in Near Eastern Studies, Cheng Hao Tien. The Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Jared Ian Meyer.
Amisha Marie Phillips.
Alexander Shu.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Physics,
Emmanuel Josue Gomez Galindo.
Sang Wook Lee. For the Bachelor of Arts in Political Science,
Rachel Beth Biederman. Courtney Lee Colwell.
Emma Cook.
Aisha M. Durrani.
Jesse Flannery. Benjamin Gall. Gina Nicole Gonzalez.
Lucas Grabowski.
Elizabeth Gujol. Lindsay Brooke Harris.
Ibrahim Hassan.
Amelia Brzezinski Hoffer.
Rebecca Marie Kirkwood.
Robert Lee. Catherine Jie Yun Lee. Ed Matten.
Gail Cecilia McFarland.
Kara Miko. Rachel May Miller. Kathleen Marie Regali. Stephanie Alexandra Saxton.
Christina Elizabeth Selby.
Cassandra Lynn Solido.
Dylan Abraham Vargas.
Emily Catherine Verica.
Jackson Parker Willis.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Alexei John Aguilan Akasho.
Maria Claudia Adair. Daniela Barrio.
Lindsay Rose Cohen.
Camille Claire Corbett.
Luis Enrique Curiel Marroquin.
Carolina Daffrey.
I.D. Ding. Nina Elizabeth DiPresido.
Stephanie Elizabeth England.
Eden Cho Epner, Anusha Galapali, Desiree Alana Herrera,
Rachel Lauren Horn,
Cheong Ho Jung,
Sung Kyu Kim,
Dylan Smith Kirby,
Jared Matthew LeBron, Leon G. Lee, Tracy Yao Lu,
Chien Hui Ma,
Jake Mayer Mayera,
Curtis Mason Myers, Catherine Orlando, Sabrina Palazzolo,
Madeline Emily Poland,
Matthew David Tan Hugh, Alex Pascual Rivera,
Alex Pascual Rivera.
Punic Sarkisian,
Catherine Semenova,
Alden Tyler Wolf,
for the Bachelor of Arts in Public Health Studies,
Camilla Nazreen Rose Akbari,
Daniel Akinbolu,
Lauren Zoe Alpert,
Zaya M. Gabatar, Sue Adaman, Otalani Ayeni,
Karen M. Baldwin,
Devin Nicole Bell,
Caitlin Elizabeth Bernal,
Ada Durga Bhatnagar,
Isha Bomik,
Caitlin Rose Billings,
Bridget Bolsham,
David John Bresnahan,
Sojana Chandrasekhar,
Meenakshi Chatrati,
Adrija Chaturvedi,
Amanda Christine Chen,
Dorothy Chen,
Laura Song Chen,
Tracy Chen,
Victoria Hiyu Chen,
Kevin June Choi, Malia Ambia Chowdhury,
Amanda Lee Chow,
Justin Chun, Elizabeth Crespi,
Rishab Himang Doshi,
Anna Du, Mehdi M. El Habil,
Stephen Fisher,
Madison Gale Foster,
Scott David Frankenthaler,
Angie G,
Harpreet Gill, Poonam Gupta,
Brian Carl Gustafson,
Jane Hahn,
Stephanie Camarena Hernandez,
David Jacob Hoffman,
Amy Yun Hong,
Alexander Apollo Shao,
Michelle Hung,
Karina Lee Ikeda,
Simon David Jackson Forsberg,
Jorge Eduardo Jimenez,
Catherine Anna Kaminsky,
Jessica Kang,
Tinashe Ann Esther Kununua,
Arshdeep Kaur,
Christina Kim,
Do Hee Kim,
Michelle M. Kim.
Minji Kim.
Dubray Mac Kinney.
Alexander Koo.
Patrick Kazimierz Shasai. Grace Kwok. Tiffany Kim Loan Lay.
Joshua Lee.
Sangyub Lee.
Selena Lee.
Jimmy Jajan Lee.
Joyce Lin.
Jimmy G. Gian Lee. Joyce Lin.
Lawrence J. Lin.
Caroline Liu.
Amelia Logan.
Ivory Hong Lo. Zaim Lone.
Annalise Joy Long. Erica Ma. Nicholas Simoes Machado.
Madeline Hope Malerick.
Andrew Ryan Masucci.
Arjun Krishna Mathur.
Connor C. Moriello.
Sarah Law McEwen.
Farhad Murtash.
Shivani Mehta.
Maximilian Keone Elijah Morris. Daniel Aris Nicolaitis.
Jane Ese Ogune Ogegum.
Jasmine A. Okafor.
Sam Peck. Erin Eun-hee Pak.
Oriana Marie Heidi Pando.
Jalika Patel.
Lauren Haley Pomerantz.
Nikhil Vedi Ramanathan.
Vijay Ramasamy.
Anika Taruni Ratnayake.
Naganyava Ravori. Eric Nicholas Rodriguez.
Alexandra Marie Rogers.
Eduardo Romo.
Jessica Rosen.
Melissa Wren Rosen.
Beneath Sauda.
Rumsha Salman.
Kaylin Elizabeth Sanders. Ann Kennedy Schindler.
Keith Schottenfeld.
Samantha Sender.
Kavan bin Shakil.
William Carson Schaffelman.
Christy Shen.
Matthew Zelalem Wondosen Shafera.
Alex J. Song. Eunice J. Song.
Alan Gabriel Sosa Ebert.
Connor Brooks Steele McCutcheon.
Nitya Surya.
Princess Elaine Sutherland.
Megha Talur.
Monica Taneja.
Samir Shamshuddin Thakur.
Angad Singh Upal.
Christian Vallis.
Daphna Varadi.
Annie Tai Villatoro.
Jessa Weiss.
Anne Shi Wang.
Talia West.
Trevor Luke Robleski.
Eileen Yu.
Monica Zode.
Lauren Ann Zingaro.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Romance Languages, Laura Maria Bo Delgado. Willa Piers. For the Bachelor of Arts in Sociology,
Noel Abdallah Arada.
Trisha Ahmed Hoke. Inez Alexa Boto.
Anna Clemens.
Lydia Grace Dubois.
Susan Pemberton Finney.
Shannon Reynolds Fitzgerald.
Caroline Walker Hilton. Alexandra Olympia McManus.
Dana Schulman.
Emily Elizabeth Stearns.
For the Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, Colette Okenpreye Aro.
Stephanie Keegan Carr.
Kara Ann Horsfield.
Jordan Vincent Villamore.
The Bachelor of Arts in Writing Seminar, Amelia Victoria Amburn. Ellen Riddell Ashford.
Jennifer Christine Affel.
Isha Bazalevich.
Alexandra Kaylin Bissett.
Monica Lee Borkovic.
Isabella Livingston Bowker. Rachel Scott Callahan.
Josephine Heryun Chun.
Margaret M. Donahue.
Cooper Dalton Donahoe.
Emily Christine Dorfer. Kaylin Nicole Fioca.
Samuel Philip Fossum.
Evan Samuel Garber.
Elizabeth Alina G. Phoebe Amanda Gennardo.
William Byungil Gill. Linda Harrison Horn. Lucas Charlton Johnston.
Lillian Regal Karras.
Molly Grace Kemikar.
Ashley Kim.
Caroline Elizabeth King.
Maribel Brett Letty.
Jillian Lelchuk.
Sydney Elise Lerner.
Ji-Yoon Liu.
Isaac Friedman Lunt.
Alyssa Mefford.
Jacqueline Neighbor.
Catherine Ann Palmer.
Milan Sandeep Patel. Danielle Sarah Pitkoff. Mariana Rincon Caycido.
Esther Pilar Rodriguez.
Frances Patricia Rooney.
Julia Beth Scherzer.
Talia Shoulder.
Samantha Seto.
Rachel Elizabeth Chavelle.
Chloe Soros. Holly Liliana Tice. Juliana Campbell Veraca.
Grace Mary Von Olen. Anna Weshi.
They're still here.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Thank you for being a good sport, Anna. And thank you all for staying with us to the end. We're almost at the end of these commencement exercises. We've applauded our graduates and their families, our trustees, our alumni, and honorary degree recipients. But I want to make sure we acknowledge the peerless contributions of one more group without whom we would truly not be here today, and that is, of course, our faculty. Under the guidance of these teachers and mentors, our students have thrived, turning out their best work, often well more than they realized they were capable of doing. Could I ask the members of our faculty who are here today to please stand so we can recognize you? Again, thank you, colleagues. I want to just, Tristan Davis, who's the father of Olivia, who graduated. Where's Tristan? There he is. So he is a floor marshal here today, and he couldn't be on stage. So I want to thank all our marshals, but Tristan, this was a duty above and beyond the call. So thank you so much for all that you do. And again, congratulations, Olivia. I want to thank our deans, our administrators and staff without whom these proud graduates would not have arrived at this moment. And of course, I want to recognize everyone, our staff, volunteers, and those who work in security and with Arena who made this ceremony possible. Before I conclude, there is one other person whom I want to acknowledge, and that is Maureen Marsh, who is Secretary of the Board of Trustees. Maureen's remit is to be responsible for lots of things around governments, but one of the key responsibilities is to make sure that commencement proceeds without a hitch. One of the things that Maureen has been trying to do for the last 2 years, but the weather didn't cooperate, was to have the senior toast. This year, for the 3rd year running, we set it up, but we finally were able to do it. I thought for those of you who were there, I'm sure you share my view that it was magical. That's really the magic of Maureen Marsh. I'm going to ask her to stand so we can acknowledge her. And everyone who helped Maureen, and there was a lot of folks involved, but we want to acknowledge Maureen. Okay. To our graduates from across the divisions of our one Johns Hopkins University, while this moment marks the end of your official tenure here as Johns Hopkins students, it also signals the start of a new kind of learning, discovery, and engagement with our communities here and around the world. Once again, congratulations and good luck. Make us proud. I know you will. Best to the great class of 2018. And now, I turn over to our wonderful provost, Sunil Kumar, to conclude our program. Sunil.
On behalf of the entire Johns Hopkins community, it's my honor to extend congratulations to all our graduates and their families. I have several announcements before we begin the recessional. Graduates, please remain standing at your seats until the recession of the principals, officials, and members of the faculty is complete. You will then recess in order. Please follow the directions of your marshal. The audience is requested to remain standing at their seats until the recession of principals, officials, members of the faculty, and the graduates is complete. Please stand now and join us in singing the new adaptation of the Johns Hopkins University Ode. The words can be found on page 14 of your program book.
Scholars' spirit soar.
Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations to all the graduates and their families. The ceremony is now adjourned.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention please for the following public safety announcement. Please be cautious and watch for traffic as you exit the arena. Obey all walk, don't walk signals and the direction of the traffic enforcement officers. The west side of Hopkins Plaza is the designated rideshare pickup zone. Thank you.